Okay, so now we're doing price competition naman. Okay. So what's the difference between price competition and quantity competition? Okay. So from the names itself, the chat, what is the difference between price competition and Corno quantity competition? I'm really thinking of just one difference. Okay, to state the obvious, one, Corno has quantity as the strategic variable. Diba? Yun yung dinidecide ng mga tao or ng mga firms in this case. And then once everyone has made a decision on their quantity, lalabas yung presyo. Paano lalabas yung presyo? Saan galing yung presyo? In the Corno model, we just solved it. Saan galing yung presyo? Galing siya sa... May nag-chat, dalawa. Ayun. Sa inverse demand, tsaka sa prices based on the quantity set by firms in Corno. Exactly. So yun yung para siyang game. Kaya siya na the game. Like we all set the quantity, tapos biglang simultaneous reveal. I said 10. Leland said 25. Gillian said blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then we'd all add them up and then that will give you the price. Yun. So that's how you determine the market quantity and then the market price. So that's Corno. Sa price competition naman, iba. So ano yung strategic variable? Ano yung dinidecide ng mga firms? Price or quantity? Di ba obvious yung, actually, super leading yung tanong ko. Sa oligopoly price competition, ano yung dinidecide ng mga firms? Price or quantity? Parang, sa Quezon City Day, ano yung pangalan ng day ng Quezon City? Sa Quezon City, ano pangalan ng day? So, price, di ba? So, can someone describe, I don't know, kung nag-work yung mic or maybe sa chat. So, kung yung description ng game sa Corno is lahat tayo nagde-decide ng price, ng quantity, tapos biglang reveal, and then the price is determined based on the total quantity. Paano naman dito? Oh, so hindi natin alam. So in this case, what do firms decide on? They set on their price. So it's the same. I decide on a price, Leland decides on a price, Gillian decides on a price. But then, if that's the case, how would you then decide on the quantity? What is the total quantity in the market? So yun yung tanong, right? So it's not that straightforward. And in a sense, you have to add sort of an additional assumption, which is our going assumption naman, even for kernel, right? Which is it's homogeneous. The product is homogeneous. In which case, the elasticity of demand comes from the fact that it's a homogeneous good, which is at the individual firm level. If anyone has a price that's lower than anyone else, that person corners the market and serves the entire market. Right? So yun yung difference. Okay, so it's interesting to think about yung difference between price competition, Bertrand price competition, and quantity competition. So quantity competition, everyone produces an amount, brings it to market, and the price is determined. But in this case, in oligopoly price, everyone sets a price, biglang reveal, and then winner take all. Everyone buys from the lowest price firm. So it's like you guys have heard of biddings, auctions. So parang it's a simultaneous auction, hindi siya descending or ascending. Everyone just writes a number down, and whoever has the lowest number gets the entire market. Or in the case of auctions, can buy the good. Okay, so we will talk a little bit about this basic price competition model right now in the next slide. Tsaka i-upload ko na ito later. All right, so we'll begin with the simplest one. Two firms competes in prices. So think about this as, each firm will shout out a price simultaneously or write it down and then reveal it simultaneously. They'll sell a homogeneous product, which means in the end there has to be only one price, and the market will buy, consumers will buy the one with the lowest price. So pababaan ng presyo. Use this demand function, Q equals A minus BP. Okay, and this P will be whomever will set the lowest price. Okay, so from firm two's perspective, these are the three possibilities. Okay, whatever the numbers are. Again, remember P1 and P2, these are numbers. If firm 2 sets a price that's higher than P1, what do they sell? Nothing. Because everyone will buy from who? The cheaper firm. Thank you, Leland. Correct. So if everyone buys from the cheaper firm, if P2 has higher price than P1, then no one will buy from P2, from firm 2, because its price is higher. On the chance na the same ang presyo nila, P2 is equal to P1, what will happen here is that the price will be, it doesn't really matter if you call it P1 or P2, since it's the same. Dito nakalagay lang P2. They'll just share the market because it's going to be A minus B, P2 divided by 2, CQ2. And then CQ1 will be, again, 1/2 of the total. So this is just sharing the market. But then if P2 is less than P1, Q2 will have the entire market here. So Q2 will be the entire market. Boom. Zero sales naman si P1. So these are the three possibilities. Okay. So medyo winner take all siya, medyo stark. So here's our demand function faced by firm 2 in the Bertrand model. So may discontinuity in the demand faced by firm 2. Right? In the Cournot model, what do we call the demand that's faced by firm 2? Tawag dun? Yeah, residual demand. Okay? Because meron kang guess about firm 2's output, then you subtract it from the market demand, and then what remains is yours. Good. But here, merong discontinuity. So let's this picture here is the same as the other picture, except that it's in a graph. So if P2 is, so P1 is set to be here, parang arbitrarily. There's a P1 that's here. And then the only question is, ano yung P2? If P2 is greater than P1, then Q2 sells nothing, kaya ka nasa y-intercept here. Q2 is 0. If they're the same, then this point represents half the market here. If P1, if P2 is less than P1, it becomes this one. Okay. It becomes A minus BP2. And the lower P2 is, as you can see, the lower P2 is the price of firm 2. Mas mataas yung quantity demand. Kaya siya regular demand curve. This is the slope. Slope of this is B. So normally, diba, this would be this is the market demand. Yeah? So this would go all the way up to here. Right? But then it's sort of cut off if P1 decides to price at this level. Okay, so this is just the picture of the other one. So now let's try to get the best responses. So it's not going to be a function because discontinuous nga siya. So you're not going to get a simple function. So here you'll have the 3 regions and you'll sort of figure out what it will be, what the best response is. Depends on the reaction of the others, because there are essentially 3 kinds of others reaction, which is mas mataas yung iba, pareho lang tayo, or mas mababa. Okay, so to find firm 2's best responses, what is the price P2 given various values for P1? So let's assume symmetric costs. C1 is the same as C2, or just C. If P1 is greater than this guy, okay, depends kung ano yung P1, diba? If P1 is so high that it's above the monopoly price, and again, I invite you to see or solve that this is the monopoly price. If this is the monopoly price, and P1 happens to be above the monopoly price, ano yung gagawin ni firm 2? Yeah, so we're still here. If firm 1 insists of setting a price higher than the monopoly price, what is firm 2 gonna do? Yeah, it will set the monopoly price, because that we've already learned from before that if you are setting your price independently of anyone else, you will choose the monopoly price. And because P1's price is higher than the monopoly price, that is the same thing as that situation. So firm 2 can basically set it to whatever it wants. Okay, so now let's say that P1 is less than the monopoly price here. Okay, or even equal to. According to this, P2 star is just P1, whatever P1 is, minus epsilon, which means you will price a shade lower than P1. Okay. So that makes sense, because whatever P1 is, you want P2 to be a little lower than that to get the entire market. Okay. Now, granted, if it's little lower than P1, it's not the monopoly price anymore. Kita niyo ba yan? Diba? Let's say P1 is exactly equal to the monopoly price. Yung ibig sabihin ng second bullet, you set the price a little bit lower than the monopoly price. So in a sense, it's not the best ever profit for firm 2, but it's better, right? It's better if you price a little bit below monopoly price and still get very close to the monopoly profit. Diba? Because the quantity effect is so big. You get the entire market under that price. Now, if P2 star is greater than, if P1 happens to be equal to costs, okay, then P2 star will be greater than or equal to P1. Okay, and you can see that as well. Indifferent siya because if P2 is greater than P1 strictly, then makakabenta ba si firm 2? Say this was not, there was no equal sign here. If P2 star was greater than P1, makakabenta ba si firm 2? Yes or no? Sabi niyo, no, of course. Kasi mas mataas nga yung presyo. Kung hindi ka makakabenta, si firm 2 hindi makabenta, syempre, yung revenue niya is 0 and then yung profit niya is 0, right? Assuming no fixed costs, of course. If it's equal and P1 happens to be equal to C, makakabenta sila. In fact, they'll share the market. But will they earn profits? Yes or no? No, because their price, which are equal, is in fact equal to average cost or marginal cost. Which means, kahit nagbenta kayo ng positive amount, each unit that you sell is exactly equal to the cost. So you're not earning any money. Therefore, in either situation, P2 is indifferent. Either magbenta ako and sell something but earn no profit, or sell nothing and then earn no profit. So it doesn't matter. The ending is earn 0 profit. Let's talk about the last line. What if P1 is less than C? If P1 is less than C, then you must sell at a price higher than P1. Okay. In fact, ayaw mo siyang samahan sa P1, which is less than C. The reason is pag sinamahan mo siya, then you will share the market. But then, kikita ka ba or hindi? Will you have profit? Yes or no? Yeah. No profit either. In fact, negative profit. Because for each unit that you sell, and you sell to everyone, if you have the same price, half of everyone, then for each unit that you sell, in the end, you will have negative profits because your revenue is P1 or P2, and then your cost is C. So, wag ka na lang magbenta. If kung ayaw mo magbenta, that means you just set a price higher than P1. Then P1 gets the entire market. Okay, not earning positive profits. So firm 1 faces the same decision. And the Nash equilibrium is where P1 equals P2 is equal to C. It's at these prices when neither would seek to deviate. Okay. So there's a sort of race to hit marginal cost, and then that's it. Hindi na sila bababa. So let's try to figure that out here. Right? Do I have the slides here? Yeah. Okay. It's moved on. So let's figure this out right now. Why it's the Nash equilibrium. Okay. So if this is the case, if P2 happens to be the monopoly price, firm 2 sells to everyone. So this is the maximum amount of profit, yeah? Because you're selling to everyone at the monopoly price. This is not the same, this is not the same same typical idea for well, it susunod siya dun sa, well, it's the same. This is basically the entire market is yours, but you're selling it at this P2. Okay, and then you will sell the monopoly quantity. That's what I was trying to say. Because you're following essentially the demand curve for the market. Now, if this is a situation and P2 is the only one there, do you think P1 will continue selling above monopoly prices? So at this point, what is firm 1's profit? If this is the case. Okay. So imagine firm 2 is selling at monopoly prices and getting the monopoly profit. Firm 1 is basically out of the market because yung price niya is higher than the monopoly price. Okay. So if you're firm 1, what would you want to do? What would earn you some profit as opposed to zero? Write it down. Do you want to stay out of the market or get in the market? Yes or no first. Do you want to stay out or stay in or get in? Right now you're out, so you can get in. Okay, so you want to go in. So you'd want to set a price less than or equal to P2. Sabi ni Jay is yes, right? Because if you set a price at equal or less than P2, you will get some positive sales and you get positive profit because it's higher than C. And it's better than staying out or zero. Okay. So nandito na tayo ulit. So you'd always want to price a little lower than the other guy. Because if you are a little lower than the other guy, then you will keep the market demand for yourself. Okay, then you will maximize according to that market demand. And then here, P1 is still out. Even if it's less, the price is less than P1. Sorry, the price of P1 is less than the monopoly price. But that's A plus BC over 2B. It's still out because P2 is lower by a little bit. And that's enough to bring everyone to firm 2. Right? So as you can see, everyone is trying to be a little bit lower than the other guy, right? So everyone will keep going down until this happens, until someone reaches P1 equals C or P2 equals C. Okay. And it's when P1 is equal to P2 is equal to C, that's when no one would want to change or to deviate, right? Because if P1 is equal to P2 is equal to C, would say P2, and let's focus in here, would P2 want to increase its price? Yes or no? Okay. Let's say they're equal. Let's check the Nash equilibrium. And to check the Nash equilibrium, all you do is to assume you're there at the Nash equilibrium. and then find out if anyone would want to deviate. So in question is P2. Let's focus on P2 since we have P2s here, right? Will P2 want to price higher than P1 if we start from this level? So sabi ni Jace, no. So bakit? This is where the argument comes in. So you can make an argument. Why would firm 2 not want to raise its price? What would happen to firm 2 if it raised its price a little bit from C? What would happen to firm 2 if it raised its price a little bit above C? First step, nawawalan siya ng sales. Okay? Nawawalan siya ng sales. Okay. But then, from the perspective of firm 2, kung mawalan siya ng sales coming from P2 is equal to C, may nagbago ba in terms of profit? So yes, tama si Jacob. Everyone will go to firm 1. But from firm 2's perspective in terms of profit, may nagbago ba? Wala. So either I sell at cost, in which case I sell some quantity, but then I earn 0, or I have a higher price, sell nothing, and have a profit of 0. Sabi ni Kingsley, walang nangyari. Correct. Walang nangyari when it comes to profit. Of course, sabi ni Jacob, may nangyari in terms of sales. Correct. But in terms of profit, walang nangyari. And we are maximizing profit here. So that's why we say that starting from P1 equal P2 is equal to C, nash siya because no one wants to increase the price because you can't do any better if you increase the price, right? So increasing the price will not do any better. Okay. And that's true for all situations here, right? For this and this. Pag nag-increase ka ng price, you just get out of the market and sell nothing. That's the pressure of lowering the price. That's why there's in this market, there's a pressure to lower the price a little bit than the other one because there is no incentive to increase the price because all you'll do is lose sales and possibly earn 0 profit. In this case, special situation lang siya because you start at a situation where you earn 0 profit. So if you increase your price, you will still earn 0 profit. Is there an incentive to lower the price? Like here, there's an incentive. Everyone wants to lower their price. But starting at P1 is equal to P2 is equal to C, is there an incentive to lower the price? Do people want to do that? Particular, think of firm 2. I am selling at cost. Do I want, and the other firm is also selling at cost. Do I want to lower my price? Sabi ni Jacob, if I lower my price, then everyone will buy from me. Do I want that as firm 2? Yes or no? Sabi ni Jillian, no. Because pupunta sila sa akin, but then if I sell less than C, that means each person I sell to, I'm making negative money. And therefore, if you add them all up, it's negative profit. As opposed to 0. So I am doing worse. So that's why this is called dominant Nash equilibrium, right? There's no other situation which you would prefer, which would give you a better situation if you start off from this equilibrium. P1 is equal to P2 is equal to C. And as we've discovered, if you start at any other equilibrium, say at an equilibrium where prices are higher than C, everyone will want to go down because the incentive is such that if you lower your price, you will sell to the entire market and have positive profits. The other firm will have zero profits. Okay, so let's end with this slide. So the equilibrium under Bertrand price competition is, how would you describe that when price is equal to marginal cost? How would you describe that? May sumagot. Perfect competition. Okay. So what this means is that because yung elasticity, the elasticity of demand is essentially infinite, right? Because pag bumaba ka ng konti yung presyo mo, sa'yo lahat ng demand, right? That's perfect competition. So that's why it's no surprise that you will end at price equals marginal cost. Because from the perspective of each company, yung elasticity of demand is in fact infinite, right? Even though we know that the market demand itself does not have an infinite. That's one of the things I wanted to really nail down here. The market demand, elasticity of demand is not infinite. But each firm sees that and feels an infinite demand substitutability. Kung konti lang yung binaba ng price ko, all of the demand is mine. And then the other guy will not be able to sell. Okay? So this is the perfect competition equilibrium. But there are two reasons why price equals MC under duopoly or price competition might not be true when competing in prices. So products might not be completely homogeneous. So meron kang horizontal or vertical differentiation. So if you read the book, you will have some horizontal differentiation, and that's enough to generate non-marginal cost pricing, okay? Deviation from marginal cost pricing. The second is capacity constraints by firms. So you can see here why that would work. So for example, if everyone is constrained, that means you cannot actually serve more customers. Pag binabaan mo yung presyo, no one can capture the entire market because limited ka sa kung sino mabebentahan mo, because you're already at your capacity. Right? Makes sense. Kunwari, if you're a good person if you're good at doing homework, right? And then you only have one night a week to do homework. Even if you lower the prices, everyone will want you to do their homework for them. You cannot, because your capacity is constrained. You can only do it, say, one night a week. So capacity constraints, if capacity is fixed and smaller than demand when price equals marginal cost. So remember, that's the largest welfare maximizing quantity, right? When demand is equal to marginal cost, then marginal price equals marginal cost cannot be a Nash equilibrium. So in this case, we suppose capacity constraints or the capacity level are a choice variable. Then it becomes a two-stage game with firms first selecting capacities and then competing on price. The Nash equilibrium in the two-stage game is the Cournot-Nash equilibrium, which is the Cournot equilibrium. Okay, so we will be looking at that case and the horizontal differentiation case next week. So those are very two simple extensions. Pero yung point lang ng slide na to is this price equals marginal cost. There are two reasons why they are not true in reality. It's because products are not completely homogeneous, and therefore yung elasticity of substitution, or yung demand elasticity, I should say, faced per firm is not infinite. And the next one is another reason why it's not infinite is because you cannot capture the entire market. Pag binabaan mo yung presyo, you cannot increase sales. And therefore, the price equals marginal cost thing will not happen. And in the capacity constraints idea, basically it resembles Cournot-Nash, which is the thing that we already studied, the Cournot-Nash equilibrium. Okay, so we'll do that next week. My last message is to people who might be interested in DLE or in Medallia. Why don't we set up a time? Why don't you can send me some ideas or some drafts, and then I can share that next week. I think may time pa rin tayo, right? So December, I'll check kung may time pa next week. If not, you can send it to me on Thursday, and then we'll, discuss your work on Thursday. So you can just send a draft to me so we can talk about those papers on Thursday. Okay, bye. Any questions? I guess that's it. I'll stop sharing.